Good morning. How is everyone doing? Today we are going to do a Divine Masculine check-in. All right, let's just jump right in. Spirit, what do we need to know about the masculine collective? What are we confronting at this time? Environment, okay, 44. Maybe confronting our stability in our life or lack thereof. Something to do with home, family, root chakra, grounding. Thank you. Teaching and learning. Okay. Reduces to a 3. Okay. Nature in reverse. Lots of heart chakra here. And crown chakra. Jeez. Okay. God, this has been coming out for everybody. Spiritual career in reverse. I'm already getting a million messages, but let's see if there's anything else. Anything else, Spirit? Thank you. I knew there was a little bit more. Okay, health in reverse, root chakra in reverse. I was on the money with that. And then time out. In the unconscious position, we have patience in reverse. Okay. So, masculines, you are being called to come into a greater resonance and greater alignment with your heart's deepest desires. Something about the environment that you're in, the environment around you. Now, this could be your home environment, your work environment, your relationship environment, your friendship environment. This could be the environment within your interior castle, within yourself. Is it a healthy environment within, your heart and mind? Yeah, some of you are being called to evaluate the health of your surroundings, period. It's a very simple, clear, direct message. Some of you, in order to access you've heard me say this 100 times, but when we do not have access to our intuition, we cannot make accurate discernments. And when we cannot make accurate discernments, it usually means our self-esteem is out of whack, masculines. So how are you feeling about yourself these days? Is there anything that's really weighing on you heavily? It's time for you to take the breaks you need. Take sort of a time out from your life if you can. And it's the weekend, so maybe you could just take an hour, a couple hours, go for a walk in nature by yourself. I don't know what your flavor of sort of, a vision quest might be. Usually vision quests are spending time in nature for days on end, but not everyone has that space and time. So maybe just like I said, a walk through the woods or, sitting at the side of a river or something. There's something here about quieting the environment around you, returning to nature so that you could actually receive divine wisdom, so that you can reconnect with source, reconnect with your true north. Your internal compass seems to be a little out of whack here. I need to get more. This side feels like a separate message here. Some of you might be shifting careers. Some of you might be really, again, if your environment is not in alignment with you, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. That's another message. Maybe the environment in which you're living, working, relating in is not conducive to you sharing your voice. Maybe you're in an environment that keeps you very small. And in order to honor your true nature and step into your divine gifts, you're going to have to sort of be patient with yourself as you excavate this discernment. All right, that feels accurate. Okay, what's blocking the spiritual career, or what is the spiritual career about? Can you say more about this for these divine masculines? Thank you. We have pride, very interesting, and hope. Whew. Okay, in the unconscious position, we have cleanse and purify. I'm getting two sides of the sword on this one. And I chose to say sword instead of coin because something feels sharp about this energy. Some of you are overconfident in an area of your life that is not serving you and serving your mission and purpose. And some of you are not as confident and need to take more pride in what you're actually skilled at. Like, just to give you an example of what it's the impression I'm getting, it's like maybe your ego has been fed throughout the years because you've nurtured a career as fill in the blank, a lawyer, an accountant, a finance bro, there's something that it's like your pride is gone unchecked in one area of your life and it's causing harm to your heart's deepest alignment. And the skills that you're actually meant to share with the world, your soul gifts, are just sitting on a shelf. So it's almost like you're being asked, masculines, to take more pride in that which actually feeds your heart, feeds your spirit, that supports you being in service to others. Remember, we're operating under oneness. I'm a oneness initiate, so I read from oneness. What does that actually look like in real life? Well, people feel very fragmented. Like, am I doing this for self or am I doing this for others? Where do I put my life force? And the answer is yes, and both. What you do for self, you do for others. What you do for others, you do for self. Remember, a rising tide lifts all ships. It doesn't matter who's progressing. We all rise together, and we can't abandon another without abandoning self. So masculines, once you start integrating these truths into your system, you realize that by abandoning your spiritual gifts, you are betraying a part of your, I don't know what you want to call it, your soul contract here, your mission. Now listen, there is a way, like sometimes these very conventional gifts, there's no spiritual ego here. I'm not saying that, healers are better than accountants or lawyers or anything like that. The only thing that matters is how you wield your gifts. Your divine gift may be to be an accountant on this planet. It's the way you are an accountant, the way you navigate that terrain, that very, whatever, or if you're in the corporate world. I'm not saying one is better than the other. It's all about your own internal soul path. It's about how you're navigating that environment. Are you in alignment? Can you maintain a high frequency and resonance in the environment that you're in? Only you get to answer that question. No one else can tell you that because no one else is living in your body. No one else can assess that frequency. Yes, people can absolutely tell when you're in flow or when you're vibrating high or whatever, but only you can make that discernment for yourself. All right, I'm getting really dizzy doing this reading. Let me just ground. Let's all just ground for a moment. Yeah, masculines, when's the last time you've grounded? When's the last time you've been barefoot on the earth? If you do work an office job and you live in a city, it's probably very rare that you get a chance to be barefoot on the earth. There's many other ways to ground and practice grounding: Epsom salt baths, foot soaks, visualizations, just wielding your intention to ground. Before you walk into any room or meeting or dynamic, you can just share, Mother Gaia, I ground in you, or it is my intention to ground and dig your roots deeper into the earth before you do anything. Sometimes, when you think about a house, when someone builds a house, the electrical system needs a ground. It needs to be something in the earth so that if the house gets hit by lightning or there's some other surge or situation, it doesn't blow up your house. Please don't. I know nothing about electricity and electrical systems, but I do know the ground is for that burst of energy to enter something, to give it a conduit to enter something else. And so you have to remember that the stronger you vibrate, the deeper your roots have to be to kind of stable the house. Essentially, that jolt of lightning, or we'll call it a that divine alignment, in order to receive that sort of divine gnosis, to be a vessel that can hold that level of vibration, you have to be incredibly grounded, masculines. Okay, where are we going next, Spirit? Where are we going next? Yeah, animals. Bear with me. All right. What else do these divine masculines need to know? This is one of my galactic cards, another connection with source. Honoring your quantum existence, essentially. And then we have the map. Which course takes me home? You can't make this stuff up. And it says compass planet. It's another nod to evaluating your environment. Maybe where you're living, who you're living with, where you're working. Think about the containers in your life and where you're walking into. Does it feel like home? If it doesn't, what about this situation doesn't feel like home? Try to get really curious and explore your environment to understand yourself, right? That's what we're doing on the planet. The spiritual path is sort of inherently narcissistic, and has to be, because we're learning about self. We're trying to understand ourselves to the best of our abilities, so that we can understand where do we thrive the best. What container allows me to feel the most at home, masculines? Which course takes me home? I love that. Anything else for masculines? Maybe it's a person, maybe it's a place, maybe it's what you're doing that actually feels like home. Maybe it's where the love is. Okay, this is a bunch, but we're going to take them all. We have what energizes me, play. We have, is it time to reclaim and reinvent the structures in my life? Another nod to environment and home space. You got a second galactic card, the sun card, illumination. What is being illuminated in your life right now? It doesn't matter if you loved your home and your town 30 years ago or 5 years ago. If you don't love it now, you're being called elsewhere. And then we have, am I ready to be seen? Soar. In the unconscious position, I have to look. We have shed. How can I know myself as bigger than any fear? Prairie King Snake. To me, this is a nod to your connection to source. Listen, as humans, we're going to be tossed in the waves often, and it's up to us to nurture a connection to something greater than self, because it's that connection to something bigger, greater, stronger, more divine. No, I don't want to say that, but something ineffable, something never ending. It's our connection to this sort of infinite thing, this thing that's greater than self, that anchors us in any storm. So you're being asked to reconnect. Again, we're getting repeating messages here. This card, I kind of breezed over it, but am I ready to be seen? Are you, masculines? Are you ready to be seen? I don't think it's an accident we have this bald eagle here, and I don't know if you could see, but in the heart space, look at this heart with this third eye right smack in the center. Another nod to divine sight, to your connection with source. Also, when you think of an eagle, bird of prey, one who has laser-like vision, one who can soar very high above the earth and spot a tiny little field mouse. They have laser-like vision. And so, I'm sorry, I'm getting a couple narratives here. Thank you. Hold on. One is, remember, you can always zoom out and unblend from your life. When you zoom out and view your life as just a generic spectator, an unbiased spectator, you could kind of get that bird's eye view and detach from all the minutia, all the little details. And I'm not demeaning, or I don't want to, demean is not the right word. I don't want to invalidate the minutia. The minutia is not very, insignificant. The minutia is filled with very profound relationships and responsibilities and duties. It could be filled with children and spouses and partners and jobs and all these really big things in our life. But what tends to happen is like we kind of fall into autopilot and we start just doing things because we've always done them, or doing things because the structures that we built in our life demand those things from us and of us. And so sometimes masculines, it would behoove you to, just pause for a moment to just say, like, is this where I want to be? Is this what I want to be doing? Is there a way to maintain my responsibilities while fine-tuning the environment that I'm doing them in? Okay. Yeah, masculines, I just keep getting the message. You need to ground. Many of you are deeply ungrounded. I could feel it in my body, and it's hard. It's like a hot air balloon is pulling me up, and I'm doing everything I can to stay on the ground. It's very difficult. Whoops. Okay, let me get some animal cards. Thank you, Spirit. We have, I don't even know how to say this animal's name, pronghorn. Action. Now's the time to act. Opportunities are here. Move forward with confidence, masculines. Your talents will always help you land on the pinnacle. Your quick wit and keen senses will lead you to success. I think it's important to honor that this is aligned action. Sometimes when we're so desperate for change, we just think, any action will just change up our situation. And, of course, cause and effect, something will change. But it's so much more beneficial when we could take action rooted in our intuition and make those wise discernments. I just want to say this. Sometimes it's really difficult to honor our intuition and to truly, truly have our intuition be our North Star. For instance, say you always said that you will never, ever work for a certain person, or you'll never do the certain job. And they offer you the job, you say no, and they keep raising the money, they keep raising the benefits, and you say no, no, no every time. And finally they hit that number. They give you that number, that amount of money, or that situation, or that dream, whatever. And it makes you stop and really question, okay, am I gonna, even though I told myself I would never ever do this, I'm not gonna do this, would I ever do it for this situation, for this amount of money, for these benefits, for, whatever it is this worth it? And in that moment, you have to understand you are at a pivotal moment. You are evaluating whether or not you are going to negotiate your spirit. This has a quantum effect for good and for bad. So you have to be really grounded and anchored in your values, in your vision. You have to be able to say no. That is the power place. Say no to someone else so that you can say yes to self. Say no to, a dream situation if it compromises the self. Because at the end of the day, every night when your head hits the pillow, masculines, you're the one who has to be alone with yourself. And if you've compromised your spirit in any capacity, it's going to affect your energetic anatomy. It's going to affect your relationships, your creativity, your inspiration. It's going to affect you on a cellular level. This is why alignment is so important. Okay, and then, I laugh. I swear to God, I did not even look at this card, but we have this goose card, inner knowing. You are a brave traveler, masculines. Your soul knows the way. Be confident you will achieve your destination. Loyal friends are always with you. Don't worry, you are blessed. Let yourself fly. We have a lot of, soaring birds of prey. We have so many flying, leaping off the cliff, making changes, creating a new environment for yourself. We have so much, there's so much potential here for movement. And that movement could be external in your physical life. It could also be internal in your emotional life. You could also fly emotionally. If you've been a masculine who's been sort of very closed up emotionally or spiritually, this might be your time to allow all of it, right? It's like, how many years are you going to put your spirituality on the back burner when it's been calling you and calling you and calling you? There's something else for you here, masculines, when you reconnect with whatever your flavor of spirituality is. No one can tell you what that is. Only you can do that. But there's a massive missing puzzle piece that you're going to gain when you reconnect with source. Again, like I said, it's like recalibrating your compass. There's something about rediscovering your true north here, masculines. Okay, I'm just going to get a random. Thank you. We have, my power lies in my peaceful presence. This is really important for me. This is a nod back to, by the way, this reminds me, remember in like high school, when you have your textbook where they show you the inside of a cell, and there's like the nucleus and the organelles and the mitochondria and like all the things. This is kind of reminding me of a cell. And at the core, right, the nucleus is what? The brain, the powerhouse of the cell. Isn't that what we learned back in the day? Your presence, your ability to hold presence and be that empty vessel so that the present moment can flow through you and you can respond in the present moment is imperative. This is the core of your work, to empty your vessel. If you are stressed about the past or worried about the future, your vessel is not empty. So when presence moves through you, when the present moment moves through you, the signal is jammed, the signal is cluttered. So it's really important that you practice emptying yourself. That could be going for a walk in the morning. That could be saying a prayer. That could be meditation. That could be working out. That could be any sort of practice that helps you release the day, release the past, release the future. Okay, anything else? Let's get one more. It says, there is a stream of love supporting my dreams. Yes, aho. Okay, anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Little affirmation. Don't mind if I do. Thank you, Spirit. My thoughts are healthy, therefore I am healthy. Masculines, a mindset of self-acceptance and body positivity is key to a healthy mind and body. By actively taking the steps to incorporate healthy eating habits and positive self-talk, you can balance your physical and psychological well-being while working towards an improved quality of life. Beautiful. Thank you, Spirit. What this is nodding to is, remember earlier when I said intuition and self-esteem are directly related. When your self-esteem is out of whack, you have trouble accessing your intuition, and thus it's going to affect your discernments you make in your life. I almost say this every reading because it's this important. When you don't have self-esteem, when you are struggling with self-confidence, it's like somebody ripped out your internal compass and you don't know which way to go. And then you become more easily swayed when you're not confident in your own navigational system. You start listening to other people's navigations, right? Okay, you're telling me to go here. You're offering me that incredible job that you're selling to me. You're giving to me on a silver platter. Okay, but it's not in alignment with my core values or whatever, but I'll still take it because I don't have access to my own intuition, or I have access to it, but I don't have enough confidence to take action rooted in my intuition. Masculines, this is so incredibly important. Let's just end on a Buddha wisdom moment. Thank you. We have knowing that you shall pass away. How can you quarrel and let bitterness harden you? Again, another nod to letting go of all that no longer serves you. If it's in the past, it's not your business anymore. If it's in the past, it's affecting, if it's in the past, but you're still thinking about it, it's affecting the quality of your present moment. Okay, period. There's nothing more I can say about that. That is just what's true. All right, I'm going to leave it there, masculines. Beautiful reading. You have some work to do. Again, just to highlight and just to review the greatest hits, evaluate your feeling of home. What is home to you? Evaluate the environments that you find yourself in. Are they still in alignment, or is something off about them? Do these environments bring you closer to love or closer to fear and separation? Reconnect with source, get back into nature, reconnect with that divine wisdom, maybe reading, spiritual texts or, mystical mentors that you align with to get you sort of back in the groove of, your spirituality. Something is going to arrive that will affect how you show up in the world and the work that you do. So this time set aside, this private time with spirit, is really valuable at this time. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope this was supportive, and I will see you in the next one.